Okay, we're last one now. We're getting there, guys. Mercedes is the last one. In fact, there's really not too much to talk about with Mercedes, though. The results in 2014 really speak for themselves. They dominated the season. They won 16 of the 19 races. They got pole position at 18 of the 19 races, something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and they have the same driver lineup. Not much has changed. They put in a stupid amount of mileage in the first test. We assume that they were running with high fuel as well. Everybody is picking them to be the favorite, obviously, for 2015. You'd have to be crazy not to, or just, a gambler, I guess. Well, I guess the real talking point at Mercedes when it comes to Mercedes is going to be Rosberg versus Hamilton again.
Yeah, I mean, if I could just jump in first on this one, because obviously I'm biased because I support Hamilton as well, obviously. But again, in my blog, I put that what I saw as quite a bold statement. Yeah, everyone expects them to be the team to beat again, but I actually think they're going to be just as dominant as last season, which is quite an achievement. But I really do think they're going to be like that because I think last season was everyone's first car, including Mercedes. It was their first attempt as well. Yes, they made the best attempt, and like you said earlier, yes, it is harder to find gains when you're already so quick, but it was still their first iteration. They will find huge amounts, and Red Bull and Co will close them down a little bit, but I don't think really a lot. That they'll make big horsepower gains. There's some talk of another 60-70 horsepower going on the Mercedes engine. And they'll make downforce gains, and I think 2016 will be another beast. 2016 it will close up a lot, particularly if the engines close up a lot. But yeah, just this year I genuinely think they're going to be possibly even more dominant.
Well, to support your argument here, look at Red Bull. They just got more dominant. I mean, 2011 was even worse than 2010, and 2012 was only close because of Fernando Alonso.
Also, that was in an era of effectively unlimited aerodynamic development. Like, there was no limits on how much you could spend or how much you could do aerodynamically. Everyone had the same rules, whereas with engines, it's a whole other beast, isn't it? You've only got a certain amount of tokens to use,
right.
So it's actually a bigger advantage they've got than Red Bull had.
Point.
So yeah, it's a safe bet to say that they're going to be the team to beat, obviously, but I think it's a more daring bet to say they'll be at least, pretty much just as dominant, if not more. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to the Hamilton-Rosberg battle, but I honestly think Hamilton's got it this season. I think last season Hamilton had a lot of pressure, because he only won one title, and you could see he wasn't happy about that. Like, he was like, you know what? I'm so competitive. I've been in such a competitive car for so many years. I only got one title to show for it. That's relatively a bit of a pathetic showing.
Yeah.
So but then he said, which surprises me, at the start of this season, he said, like, I'm not really worried about the third title. I've still got probably at least another 5 years in the sport. I've got one title. I've got two titles. So even if I retire now, I'm kind of happy that I do want a third, but I'm not so desperate as I was last year, because last year was really desperate to take that opportunity and just get more than one. So, and I think that he was putting a lot of pressure on himself last year, and I think this year he'll just be a lot more relaxed about it. He'll have learned his lessons last year. He'll have developed as a driver.
You think that's going to make him even faster?
Just as well.
You do?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because a lot less pressure in it. He's really thinking, oh, I've really got to win it, really got to win it. Whereas this year he's thinking, do you know what? I want to win it, but I'm just chill about it. Like, I don't even mind, and that's a dangerous attitude to me. That's a very dangerous.
He did say in an interview recently that he's coming into this season ignoring his, like, he said he's not coming into this season thinking, right, I'm a two-time world champion, I want a third title. He said he was coming into the season thinking, okay, it's the beginning of a new season, I would like to win this championship. Not because I want a third title, but because I want to win this championship. You know what I mean?
But that's the point. This season he wants to win it. Last season he was desperate to win it. That's a big difference in your mentality, a big difference in how you drive. He was overdriving the car a lot of time last year. You look at the mistakes in qualifying. Some of them weren't his fault, but some of them were. And Hamilton made more mistakes last year than he has done in many years. And that was partly because of
desperation,
the title pressure, let alone But then also the desperation came into it was just trying so hard, and especially as it got so close with Rosberg. And also he's learned how to play the Rosberg game last year as well. He's learned how to handle Rosberg, and I think once he establishes himself as the better driver, the guy who generally comes out on top, I think Rosberg won't back down as such. But last season he wanted to prove a point, didn't he, Rosberg?
Right.
That was what the Spa incident was all about. He wanted to prove, look, I'm not going to back down.
He did prove a point, though. He did prove a point. A lot of people expected him to get destroyed by Lewis Hamilton, and he did not.
Yeah, exactly. He did, well, yeah, he did, and in Spa as well. I think he did achieve his goal. He did prove that I'm not going to back down. I'm here to fight you. I'm not just going to even though you might be faster in this race. That doesn't mean I'm going to give up. That means I'm still going to fight you as hard as I possibly can. Which he did definitely prove a point. But I think now Hamilton did underrespect him first half of last year. I think rightly so. I mean, he won 4 races on the trot after retiring from the first race. He possibly could have won 5 on the trot. He had that level of confidence about him, but Rosberg did deserve more respect than he gave him. So yeah, I think main thing will be, like I say, Hamilton has not desperate anymore, and also he's learned how to play Rosberg and what to do with him, and he's learned to respect Rosberg. Basically, is what's happened. He's learned to respect actually this guy's amazing. I need to be on top of my game to beat him. But like even last season, like when he lost, he was like, yeah, he was just faster. Yeah. He was just straight up faster than me this weekend. Like, and he was chill, even last year was chill about it. So this year he's even more chill about that. And but he'll still be determined to fix it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the season. But I think Hamilton will win it, especially without double points. I think he'll win it two, maybe even 3 races before the end of the season. I really do think he's going to be that. Not dominant, but he's going to have that much of a comfortable lead over Rosberg this season. That's not to take anything away from Rosberg. Rosberg's amazing. I just think Hamilton's different approach this season is going to pay him absolute dividends.
Now, I'd like to hear sort of like a contrasting thing from that, Miko. Obviously, Rosberg, half Finnish. He's got the Finnish blood and everything. I have a couple questions for you, Miko. One, do you think Rosberg can be more competitive against Hamilton this season? Rosberg tends to be the analytical type of driver. He does learn from mistakes and stuff like that. So I could potentially see him having learned a lot about Lewis and himself and the car last season, and really applying that information to this season to try and give himself an upper hand. That's my first question: is do you think Rosberg will be even closer to Hamilton this season, or do you think it'll be similar? Also, I'm wondering your thoughts, Miko, on do you think Rosberg lost pace when they made the regulation change about radio communication with one another, because that does seem to have helped Lewis. From what we can tell, a lot of analysts have been saying that and stuff. So do you think Rosberg will be even closer this year? And also, do you think that lack of radio communication has hurt him to the point where maybe there's no chance of him catching Hamilton now?
And the prize for longest question of all time goes to
Yeah. I'll ask the radio question. Answer the radio question first. I don't really see that as such a big deal, but it could have affected the.
But you don't think it was significant?
No, I don't think it was a significant thing. So. I really have to agree with Alex in a lot of things. In kind of the desperation thing, that Lewis is gonna be really dangerous now that he's gonna be more relaxed. But in another light, you can't be sure about 2016. So I think Rosberg has that in mind, that now they have another chance of winning the title with probably a absolutely monster of a car. So this might be the last chance for him to.
Yeah, desperation's on the other foot.
Yeah,
good point.
Yeah, so I think Rosberg is gonna be more determined than ever to win the title, and let's not forget that he made some pretty big mistakes in the latter part of the season. Like in Spa, he was a little bit clumsy, and in Sochi, he locked up his brakes in the first corner.
In spectacular style.
Yeah,
it was great.
That's
he
still
blew
like
the race in the first corner. So
that's still the best shot of last season, I think. Isn't it? Just that's so much smoke pouring off of both of his front tires. That's such a wicked shot.
Yeah, so I have no question about Lewis's speed. It's gonna be relentless, and Rosberg is gonna have to be. I mean, it's gonna be really hard for him.
It's going to take a lot of work.
So
I mean, he does have the edge so far based on testing. Going back to what this is all about is the testing. He has done a lot more mileage. Well, not a lot more, but he's done a significant amount more mileage than Lewis has. Let me see if I can pull it up very quickly. What? I'm not seeing it. Where is the distance for everyone?
about 100 laps.
Right, yeah, it was like...
Nico did 308, Lewis did 207.
Right, so, I mean, he is off to a good start, but, I mean, I guess in preseason testing, any information that Nico gathers while he's on the track is also information that Hamilton is gathering as well.
It's curious to me how Hamilton's image is starting to change. I'm starting to feel like, at least with the Mercedes dominance, we could actually hear, well, first of all, we could hear booing to Rosberg in the latter stage after Spa, which was really strange.
Unfortunate.
Hearing it after Vettel.
Yeah.
And
but fair enough, actually.
Yeah. Well,
for that one incident.
And Monaco.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, Monaco. That's probably even the bigger one, actually, if you ask a lot of people.
It's not nice, but Rosberg knew he did wrong, and I like the way the fans show him. Like, the fans, should show some emotion to the drivers. Like, the fans should say, "Look, we don't like what you just did," And how can they show it? They don't get to speak to them. The only way they can show it is by booing on the podium. So I actually like that, and similarly, I kind of liked it when it happened to Vettel, but it happened for way too long. With Vettel.
Did.
It's just the whole season. That
I
was
started feeling bad
one or two
for
races, maybe. yeah, like 1 or 2 races just to show the driver, look, we don't like that. Don't do that again, because that does mean Vettel played it down. Like it does mean Rosberg did say last season it meant a lot to him. Like actually that. Yeah, it did actually mean he didn't like it at all. It meant a lot, and it did make him change his mentality a little bit, which is good. The fans should have that influence over cars of the drivers, because obviously the fans mean a lot to the drivers. So yeah.
Yeah. So as I was about to say about Hamilton, I mean, of course the British are gonna love him to that, but I mean, in some way, I feel every time we see him on the podium, he says all the same things, that he's really great for the team, and he says these things, but to someone who's not British, it doesn't seem as genuine as if you're looking at a Ricardo or someone. It seems like he's so used to being there already that he's actually, the fans are starting to turn to some of the underdogs, and he's not as popular as he could have been or might have been earlier.
Sorry, Hamilton you're talking about,
yeah.
I think the biggest thing with Hamilton, he's now, for some reason, he's developed this attitude of he's too big for F1, hasn't he? Like he kind of walks around, and his fashion sense, and that's not really got a lot to do with it, but it seems to just come across like he's too big for F1. He's such this big star. He doesn't think that. I know, I don't think he does, but that's the best way to describe how he's coming across. And it's just not a nice way to come across at all, is it? And the Hamilton of 2007, the boys, and the jumping on the podium, and the really that was brilliant. But I wouldn't say he's bored of F1, because he's definitely still got a passion for it. Hence him being able to win that title last year. But there is something. I agree with Miko. There's something there that's just like I said. The best way to describe it is the fact he feels like it's too big for F1. It's weird and not
also
good.
He has terrible fashion sense. Just throwing that out there.
Agreed. Horrible.
He also has terrible taste in women. Just gonna throw that out there too.
There would be millions that would disagree with that.
There's 100,000 women that look exactly like Nicole Scherzinger and are nothing like her.
Yeah, I'm not. I must admit, I'm not over keen on Nicole either. Actually,
I never was.
Type, so I'm actually with you.
I never
on that.
was. I mean, she's just, I don't know. We don't want to get to. We've already talked for far too long.
No. Now we need to get Miko's opinion. Come on, Miko. We need your opinion on this now. Now we've come this far.
Who should Lewis be with?
I'm not gonna touch that, but I mean, probably my favorite F1 moment after Alonso's chickens must be Nicole Scherzinger's moment with Martin Brundle in Singapore. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a good.
That was amazing. It was a proper long what?
wish luck to Lewis for us.
What?
And it's the way that Martin just goes, all right, brilliant, and just sort of walks off. That's it.
He's like, you have nothing of value to contribute anymore, so I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah, it literally was. It was amazing.
Oh
yeah.
man, I hope that we could somehow show that and not have a copyright strike. Oh man. Okay. Well, yeah. Like I said, I think in a lot of ways Mercedes is actually the least interesting team for 2015, purely because they're in the best position. It's their championship to lose. They've already got the reliability. They've got the exact same drivers, so on and so forth. So yeah.
Should we just? I know it's similar to last year, but should we just touch on the livery before we kind of round up? Like, cause I know it's so similar, but I still quite like it. And the car looks in general. I really like the looks of it. I was saying to you, off there earlier that I really like the look of it, and I've got nothing against it because Mercedes are generally known as silver, same as Ferraris are generally known as red. So, and then they got the blue of the Petronas. Well, the hands are a bit tight with that, but I think considering that what they've done, I think it's a good looking car.
Yeah. And
the nose isn't the prettiest.
The
but
nose looks like the Kraken. It does.
Yeah. It's pretty intense how the wings have developed nowadays. I think it was Ted Kravitz that made the comparison between F1 wings and shaving utensils. You just keep adding. You just keep adding. Now it's now you have 5 blades. Now there's 6 blades. Just skip ahead. Go to 10 blades. I mean, it's the same thing with the wings. You got 5 element. Now we got 6 element. Like, just make a 20 element wing and be done with it.
But to me, what amazes me more is obviously I'm used to these wings now. Looking at the older style wings, but they're just so simple and plain. You're like, it's got two planes or whatever, and they're just straight, and it's just like, what the hell? That's ridiculous. That's just whole other worlds to what we've got now, and it's amazing.
Okay, well let's wrap this up with a quick just quick predictions. Who's gonna win the world championship?
Mika, you go first.
Lewis.
Yeah, well, I've already said.
Yeah, I think I gotta agree with Lewis too. I'm hoping that Rosberg will be closer to him with maybe not the same tactics that he used last year. I'm because Rosberg, as I mentioned before, he really is that analytical type of driver. He's got a sharp mind on him. He's a very smart guy. He knows every language on earth. He's
Just going back briefly to what you said to Mika about the whole removal of the radio stuff, I think that did affect him a lot. And when that first happened, I thought, you know what, I think it's going to benefit Hamilton, because Hamilton's the sort of driver like Alonso that can just drive any car and just get on with it. He's also I think not as technically minded as Rosberg in terms of setup, but that's what the engineers are for. But I think he's quite technically minded in terms of driving. He knows exactly what to adjust in order to make his personal driving better, sort of thing. He can adjust his style.
I think
Rosberg,
though. So I think he can make that change. And that's what I mean. He's a very technical kind of guy. So that change happened mid-season, and he was given very little time to react to it. And he's coming into this season knowing it. Yeah, and I think he's going to adapt. And I'm hoping that'll bring him a little bit closer to Lewis.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like I said, he's a very intelligent guy and stuff. He's very technical. So I think he probably will learn how to do it. But yeah, I do believe it made a big difference last season anyway. There's a few times he even mentioned after the race, slow, and then I adjusted my diff, and then I was half a second lap faster. You're like, oh my god, that's a huge difference. And then Hamilton never said that, and he was, in those races he was quicker. So you have to assume that Hamilton nailed those settings. So it is an interesting one. But aren't they removing those rules completely for next season?
I know they were changing them somehow because they
were going to be much more severe. They've definitely scrapped the much more severe part, but I can't remember if they've removed those rules completely or they've just
they've definitely clarified the rules. I know that much. It's much more clear, what is and is not allowed. Yeah. So okay, one more prediction before we wrap it up. Who's going to finish second in the constructors?
Red Bull.
It's a hard one. I think I'm going to go Red Bull as well. It's kind of the safe.
I'm going to say Ferrari just for the hell of it. Yep.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Well, no, they got two good drivers. They got a car that looks a lot better, so I'm going to go with Ferrari.
To be different, I'm going to say Williams. Just to make
so that we can look back on this and at least one of us can say that we were right.
Yeah, exactly. Be a bit more adventurous. We'll be McLaren now. You
right, exactly.
Yeah, we're going to be McLaren.
All right, well, that's going to do it for the incredibly long BoxCast. 2.5 hours long. I think it's even longer than last year's, which I think really shows how exciting this season's going to be. I'm really excited to see the teams with their refined, the refined cars. Everybody's really tweaking and getting things just so. I'm really hoping it's going to be a lot closer. Really looking forward to it.
I think it also shows that how much I can talk when you talk to me about something I'm passionate
Exactly.
about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm the same way. I'm starting to lose my voice right now. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining us, and we may or may not do more BoxCast this year. You know, this might be the only one. Hope maybe we'll do more, but I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and we'll see you next time.